So before we get into chatting about Le Crunch, we've got to go back to it, haven't we? Bernard Laporte had to file his report into Wafflegate, Fabien's excursion. We've chatted about it at length, but he filed his report. The conclusion was nobody did anything wrong, but the rules and protocols should have been tighter. That's the way it's been portrayed. Is that right?
Pretty much, yeah. But I mean, listen, the reality is that there's a lot of communication in there. And when you get Josh Adams, the winger of Wales, who gets excluded from the Welsh camp for 3 or 4 weeks or something because he hosted a sexual revelation, for his future baby.
A sexual what?
No, a sex revelation. Is that what you say?
A sex reveal.
A sex reveal. Sorry,
a gender reveal. I think we'll say it's easier. Gender reveal. Yeah.
Okay, a gender reveal for his future baby.
Yeah.
And so obviously it's important stuff, important family moments and stuff. And he got excluded for the camp 4 weeks. Then we realized that basically Fabien Galtier went to see his son. It's been confirmed, but it's part of the protocol. And that's why he kept on just answering, bluntly out of nowhere. I didn't break the rules. He didn't confirm or not. So basically, long story short, there's nothing actually in the books that was any problem. It's pretty much understood that the patient zero, like they call him, is a sevens player who tested negative a day, 3 days later tested positive. It just happens with this shit. You just don't know, and it's impossible to predict. What we don't like, what smells really, really fishy, is the way that it was addressed. There was never a clear answer, to say yes, no, but listen, it's within the rules. I don't know what you're talking about, and no, we're going to appoint a COVID manager, which is the vice president of the federation. I'm going to ask for a report, but I'm going to write the report myself. We know the patient zero is actually the conditioner. So, and in the end, basically ils se font taper sur les doigts. They got hit on the fingers like little kids by the minister. But it's true that by the book, nothing's wrong. And this stuff is complicated. The game got postponed. It's still going to be played. Apparently, it's going to be confirmed. So that's awesome. But what I'm worried about is, because that's what I've heard, the boys were not happy. The boys were seriously not happy. You consider that you're a team unity, that there's going to be tolerance zero, there's going to be acceptance zero for any type of misbehaving. And obviously the head of state of French rugby allowed himself an outing that honestly, I would have forgiven him straight away. You barely see your kids. You want to see your son play rugby. You're outside, you're masked, you're this and that. I can get it. Like, honestly, it's not a big deal. What I don't like is the way that it was handled.
And getting back to matters on the pitch, obviously a month since the last game. So are they going to be ready physically?
Well, Johnny, you tell me, but I don't know if you guys watched Top 14. Virimi Vakatawa is pretty much
he
back.
Looked ready.
He's all right. He's all right. So in the end,
he's more than all right.
This is the incredible thing. Is that, look, there's been all this shambles about the press and this and that. But if they're smart enough to actually concentrate on them, Antoine Dupont's back. Kamisha is back. We didn't even speak about Kamisha, but he's back. Virimi Vakatawa is back. I didn't know he could come back now. And he's played already a game. Romain Ntamak is back.
Yeah.
The little genius. So all these guys are back. There's basically Thomas Ramos that pulled out because he played with Toulouse. I think he hurt his calf.
Villiers as well.
Yeah, Villiers broke his hand. That's true.
Yep.
But they've got Thierry Thomas and Damien Penaud. So there would have been a possibility that he didn't start. I don't know. And so in the end, they've got a full shebang. Vakatawa for me is the absolute key because Jalibert was playing so well, and I still believe that he might start this weekend.
Yeah, so do I.
But Vakatawa, mate, he's this whole backline is night and day with or without him, right? In terms of creativity and what he can bring, the X factorness and all that. And so basically they've got a full squad. I don't think rhythm will be an issue because the guys who needed rhythm got at least 40 minutes of top 14 last week, and so they'll be ready.
Well, let's bring our guests in now then, because he's been involved in a few tasty England v France clashes over recent years, and he could have been playing in this one had circumstances been different. England loosehead, Joe Marler joins us. How are you, Joe?
Hi, lads. Bonsoir. Bonsoiré. All right, lads. How you doing? That's for Johnny. Good evening, lads. Hey, see you, Jimmy. So, and Tim, just good evening. Thank you for having me. How are you, boys?
Good evening, Joseph. We are well. So how are you? How have you been? How are you enjoying the Six Nations?
Enjoying it.
No? Have you watched it? Have you watched it, Joe?
Bits. I can't say I've enjoyed much of it. No, it's just a bit it's just a bit shit without fans, isn't it? It's not. To me, it doesn't even count. I'll be honest. I'll go out there straight away. I'm sorry. France are on for a Grand Slam. Who else is on for a Grand Slam? Wales are on for a Grand Slam. But there's something. Maybe it's just me trying to stir the pot or justify it, but doesn't really count if it's not in front of fans.
If you were still in competition to get that Grand Slam bonus, I'm telling you, you would ask for it to count 150%. So shut your mouth with all that bullshit about the fans and all that. You never did it for that, mate. You're a podcaster now. You're a podcaster.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
Don't be like that. I play for the love. I play for the love of the game, and I love talking to you. I love listening to you, especially Ben, because your voice always reminds me of a cross between Gerard Depardieu,
It's not Depardieu.
Oh, what is it?
Depardieu.
Gerard Depardieu, and the French bloke from The Patriot.
I tell you what, so you tell me that you like my voice. I like yours because I've got two memories of it. The first one is that Joe Marler, big beard, basically loose-head prop for Harlequins, is the first guy that, as a scrum was going to pack down Clermont against Quins, all you could hear was like, "Ça va, mon ami?" You would just get this idiot who basically, as soon as you heard Crouch, bind, whatever, and we were about to slam on each other, you would hear, "Ça va, mon ami? Ça va, mec?" He would just try out on his French and stuff.
That's
and
because I was preparing to get drilled and put the reverse lights on. So I thought, if
are you not actually good mates with Rabah Slimani? I think he would always tell me that he would get some text before. Easy, mate, my back is fucked. Easy, mate, my hammy's gone.
I'm not entirely sure whether that's legal or would be counted as some sort of place betting for organising gentlemen's agreements before games. But no, Rabah's a good lad. He's
that's the thing. He's too kind because he actually listened to you. I swear to you, before the games, he would tell me, "Hey, just don't worry." He said to me, "It's like my scrum, your scrum. Just get out of there. I'm fine with that." It's like, Rabah, you meant to drill him to the ground. What are you talking about? He's just eating you up before the game. No, he's really nice fella. Like, yeah, he's a nice fella. He just ate you. Ça va, mon ami?
Ça va, mon ami? See, I can do it. Paris awaits.
Yeah, you're good.
Joe, give us a perspective of an outside perspective of what you've made of France. Like, what is the outside view, and also not just France, but the whole storm we've seen with Fabien Galtier, wafflegate. What are the players talking about it?
I haven't really heard about waffle. What's this about wafflegate?
They ate some waffles. They went out, they ate waffles, and apparently it was allowed. But the England boys aren't allowed to do that, are they? So
poor sods. What do I think? What do I think about France? France really excite me, actually. I really loved the group of young bucks that they brought over in December for the Autumn Nations Cup and gave us a run for our money there and actually played the better rugby and probably should have pipped us. But to see them finally get themselves, pull the fingers out and get some depth to their team, exciting depth as well. And to see a lot of fit, hungry, young Frenchmen who aren't smoking before middle and end of every session and game. So no, it's exciting. It's definitely good for rugby to have a strong French team actually pitching up. So that's why this weekend's going to be even bigger, because the English boys have got their backs against the walls. And the French, well, there's all this, what is it, the wafflegate that you said, and all that drama. But I'm sure the actual team don't give a shit about that. They're just going to come over here and jouer, as they say. And I hope, I'd love it if it was a proper jouer fest. Like, one of my favourite games I played in was back in, Ben, you'll remember this, back in 2015, and it was the last day of the Six Nations. And we beat you boys 55-35, but it was fucking carnage, absolute carnage. But some of the most fun I've ever had on an internet. In fact, it's probably my favourite game I've ever played in. When Debati, how the hell did Debati get on the end of that try?
But hang on, you guys won the Grand Slam that day, didn't you?
No, we lost to Ireland on points difference.
Oh yeah, because you conceded a defensive bonus point, didn't you? Yeah. Didn't you? And who scored that try, mate?
Was it you? Oh, fuck off.
Oh yeah.
That's
my biggest.
Sickening.
That is my
it's as
biggest
if I teed
achievement.
it up for you. That is unbelievable.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Did Benji text you beforehand and ask you to do this, Joe? Did he put
I promise you. I promise you I wasn't. I was more gonna say, Joe, that the first time I met you, it was after France-England game in Paris. Remember the Gaël Ficou last minute try, 78th minute. We were gonna lose that game. It was just a bit of brilliance from Gaël at the end. And Joe rocks up because you get along well with Dan Cole, right? With Coley.
Yeah, I couldn't ever shake him, mate. He was my shadow. I couldn't shake him.
and you came in, and the boys just sat next to me, and we had a few beers and stuff. And I remember Joe looking at all of them. Obviously, nobody spoke a word of English apart from Yannick Nyanga, I remember, who wasn't far and who came and said hello and stuff. And at that time, some boys would sneak up in the warm-up room and we're going to have a few cigarettes at the time. I'm not going to say who. And that's true. And I remember Joe looking at me, is this really what's fucking happening? I said, hey, listen, when in Rome, we just beat England. It doesn't happen all the time.
Joe, Benji loves talking about stereotypes, French stereotypes, and we've spoken already about cigarettes in the dressing room, so this is right up his street. But what's the chat usually ahead of an England-France game? Do the players sort of talk about kind of the old French stereotypes? Has it changed whilst you've been with England? Is it a lot more kind of, not respect, but, a lot, the style has changed. So do you speak about the French team in a different manner now to what you would have done 10 years ago?
From a personal and team perspective, like you can't avoid the standard narrative that the press rolls out about what fucking French team are going to turn up. Like you can't avoid it because social media is everywhere and it's always the same old shit brought out every time England France come around. But as players, we always expect unbelievable skill, unbelievable individual skill. That would always be the chat of some of the superstars that they've got in the team, and a horrible, nasty pack that can scrum you to death, not literally, in case that translates badly.
That's going to be on the dressing room wall this weekend, Joe.
But and that physical, in your face attitude, that's always the chat that we would have and we would expect from a French team. And I think that'll be very much the same this week, but with the added of they've got so much youth and exuberance and no fear. Maybe Eddie and the coaching group would be like, well, actually, yeah, they are young and they've got no fear, but they're under a little bit of pressure this time because they've actually got something to play for, as in they're still new. The French team is still new and fresh, but there's a bit more expectation on them now. Do you know what I mean? It's not 2 years ago where it's like, oh, these are young pups. They give them time to. Actually, they're starting to get results now, so maybe they'll go with that. I suspect Eddie will probably go with the. I haven't seen any press yet, but he'll probably go with the underdog tag and ram that hard this time and put the pressure on the French that way around.
Is it fair to say that however incredibly arrogant and disrespectful all you English were constantly non-stop against the French, is it fair to say that between front rowers there was actually quite a lot of respect, apart from Dylan, who non-stop kept on chatting and giving us so much shite? But is it fair to say that there was, well, Coley's like that, he doesn't say much, right? But I always felt that even Mako, Jamie George, all those guys, they were sort of like, obviously it's usually this way in any team that you play, but when Mario Itoje, all those guys would keep on yelling behind, I felt that with the front rowers, there was sort of this matter of respect. Or maybe because you texted Rabah, also told him to, your scrum, my scrum, let's take it easy today. But I felt that there was this added respect, right?
No, there is definitely an added respect. And as an Englishman against the French, there was always that knot in my stomach of fear of, if I don't turn up, I'll get my pants pulled down.
And on the subject, Joe, who's the toughest French front rower you've ever come up against?
From Benjamin Kaiser.
I was going to say I teed you up for that one.
He didn't have the balls to go into hooker, mate.
No, I'm not happy complimenting Ben because I've already teed him up with that that super try that he scored. So look how smug he is. Look, he's just sat there like, He hasn't stopped with that tight smile
Honestly,
the entire time.
I ran about 15 centimeters for that try. I was awesome. It was after a driving maul. Just had to put it down, mate. It didn't do anything.
Toughest French. I used to hate playing against Nicolas Mass
He's a
because
legend.
the size of him was horrible.
Yeah.
He was about 4'11", and he was so good. I'll tell you what he was good at. He was horrible. I was like, mate, I can't get down that low. Do you mind coming up a bit higher just so I can actually get my head in the hole here? He was so good at he wasn't actually really good at pushing you backwards, but he had this art of, if I tried pushing him, he could then like change his angle or like absorb the weight somehow to then make me spin out of the scrum and have my arse and my head sort of combined whilst he was just ploughing on through. It was really strange, really hard to get my head around that one. Fucking hell, there's a fox. There's a fox. There's a fucking fox in my garden. Wait. Oh my God, it's tiny.
Mate, go put your spacesuit and go clippity clop in your garden and go catch that fox. Clippity clop.
Oh, lads, it's been an absolute pleasure. Tim, please just cut out any of the stuff that will get me in trouble, because I'm just trying to keep
it then, Joe. That's all.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep my head down these days. Yeah, it was wonderful speaking to you. All the best.
Cheers, Joe.
Thanks
Cheers.
all, mate.
Cheers, boys. Bye bye.